my best ideas come when I'm just thinking, just giving myself time to myself, and I'm just out there just chilling. And then you get your best idea, you're like, dang, this came about because you're giving yourself time to ponder and really just be able to come up with ideas. I think that is one of the mistakes of our world. You don't get time. You feel like you need to be doing something. Anytime you're not doing so, you feel like, dang, it's something I'm supposed to be doing, or something you're missing out on, or you try to find something to make yourself busy. I think everybody should allot time during their day where they just sit still. You get what I'm saying? These 10 minutes, these whatever minutes, I'm gonna sit right here and just whatever comes to me. I'm gonna think. I'm gonna ask myself questions. I'm gonna ask myself questions about myself. I'm gonna be able to do self evaluations for myself to come up with new ideas and just be able to be yourself. I think that alleviates that time to where you just always just da-da-da-da. Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, Mr. Military Man, Mr. Miles McConnell. How you feeling today, brother?
Feeling pretty good today.
Love to hear. To the right end, we got the Rocket, the Heights of 7 Hills. How you feeling today, Mr. Eddie Rock?
Exquisite.
He's exquisite, man. Glad to have y'all here. Another episode of the EL2A Podcast. We're going to start it off like this. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. All right, some great content. Last week we were talking about, we had a great episode. My brother Rob, I don't even know, Novoa. That's one of the weirdest, N-O-V-O-A, Novoa. Great episode. I'm talking about his journey. The episode before that, talking about emotional intelligence. A lot of stuff dealing with the mind. And I think that's a good spot to be, man. We're in a space right now that mentally a lot of things are going on, because there's so much going on in our country, in our world. So we got to be make sure that we're healthy mentally. But other than that, updating news. So our casino night that we had for April 12th, we had decided to go another route and not do it. I don't know why that's doing. Is it freezing still? We still good. Don't worry about that glitch, but we still, hey, we humans, all right? But look, April 12th, our casino night, we have canceled that event. That event will no longer go on. We want to shift your focus to not September, but June. Nope, not June, July 25th. All right, July 25th will be our summer gala. We want to shift everybody's focus towards that. That'll be our next event that we will have. We'll be putting more information and flyers out about that soon. But again, April 12th, the casino night will not be going on, just to let y'all know. All right, other than that, like, subscribe, comment. But to get into the conversation, I was thinking, man, from the conversation we had with one of our boys, it was me and Miles and the parent in the room with the parent. We had our quarterly parent meetings. One of the boys, he talked about how he was basically addicted to his computer. He was saying the mom was saying she told him to come off. He cannot get off his computer. And we asked him why. He literally like, I can't. Like, he would, like, his mom would leave and he would get off for a second, but he'll get right back on. And he said he'll be on his computer till 3 o'clock in the morning. This on school nights, like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, he's addicted to his computer. With that in mind, we understand a lot of our other boys, the things that they go through. They're addicted to electronics, can't get off their phones, and do all these things. And you know what I mean? It just made me thinking about that conversation of focus and your ability to focus. Even a step further in my personal life, in my relationship, I never forget watching BMF. So BMF, the TV show, the TV series, it originally came out, and me and Shauna would watch this together. And through us watching these episodes, they had released a documentary. So, obviously, the BMF, the series is like fictional. Not fictional, yeah, it's not real. So they just putting it together. The documentary, this is the real people talking about the real things. And I'm like, well, I want to watch the documentary to see what's going on. She's like, no, I don't want to watch that. I'd rather watch this. And so all that being said, you got a world full of people that want to be entertained. You know what I mean? They're stuck with entertainment. And me, myself, I find pleasure in education and being educated, being uplifted. And I know some other people do, but a lot of people don't. And with that in mind, it's a conversation of, like, why do people lack focus? Why do people crave entertainment? I want to go that route. I want to kind of get a landscape of why is this a thing? And what do y'all think before I go any further? Why do y'all think people lack focus and crave entertainment?
The lack of focus, I mean, that's just what the lack of what was taught to them. A lot of times, I look at, so I use your nephew, for example. his focus when we direct him to reading after school or doing something constructive after school, he'll do it. But if he comes home without direction, he's not going to do it. So the lack of focus isn't there. And then, so now what does he's entertained with his PC, with Roblox, you know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of, I guess when you don't have direction, or if you don't have a blueprint, if you don't have anybody telling you the right way to go, then it's easy for you to lose focus.
Yeah. Even so I was looking at when they were talking about, so the dopamine, obviously dopamine, the neurotransmitter in your brain. They're saying the same dopamine that get when you watch entertainment is the same one you get like when you're eating good food or you even having sex. So think about that excitement that you get in all those different things. Like entertainment gives you that same feeling. And even thinking of that like, so it makes me think, so like, are we built, like, is our body built to crave that? Even so, you think about dopamine. I read it down because I know you guys probably asked. So dopamine is a hormone for you all. That is a hormone, a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger made in your brain. Your nervous system uses it to send messages between nerve cells in your brain and the rest of your body. So your dopamines are literally controlling your body. You know what I mean? So your dopamine's involvement is your movement, your memory, your pleasurable reward, motivation, and your behavior. So the same dopamine that when these kids are watching these on these computers or on these tablets, on these phones, is the same thing you get when we feel like when we eating the good food and doing, you know what I mean, grown man business. You get what I'm saying? So think about that. So how, with that being said, because we can say what we think and that they're lacking focus, but their body is literally like addicted to this. How do we turn that around? You get what I'm saying?
Well, in order to influence change, then you have to embody that. So if your kids are addicted, then what is it that you're showing those kids? Or every time your child comes home or something, or trying to talk to you, do you have your phone in your hand or anything like that? I know for me personally, I make it an effort now to pick it up, turn it upside down when my daughter, whichever one is talking to me, so that they see that I'm closing that off. Like, you have my attention now. So, what is it that you're talking about? Even if it's something, London, my oldest daughter, she can yell. And it's times where she's just talking about everything from A to Z, from when she wake up till I'm walking through the door at home. But I know to her, that means so much to be able to sit down and have that moment just to walk me through a whole day. And so you have to show that. So then when I'm talking to my kids, now they understand, like, let me stop what I'm doing to give that respect to my father. And I think a lot of times parents, they try to use brute force a lot of times when they could have just set the proper example and tone to begin with. So now when I'm talking to my daughters, I don't have to compete with anything because they don't have to compete for me. So now it's, okay, I have something to say, dad is going to listen, mom's going to listen. Now when we're saying something, they stop what they're doing and they listen. If not, because they're not perfect, instead of it going the lengths that we hear a lot of times where people have to raise their voice and yell at their kid or pop them or whatever, it doesn't get that far because now they understand, like, you know what? He just got home from work and my kids know, like, we're open book with them. So they know all that, that we do and everything else. So if he comes home, doesn't even give himself time to decompress, to hear me out, least I can do is listen to him when I have different things going on. I know some parents out there, they made, like, I ain't doing that. I'm just telling them they better listen. Well, that's why you always yelling and you got all that chaos in your home though. So, just embody the change if you really want to remove those distractions. And then ultimately, that kid didn't purchase that cell phone. That kid didn't purchase that computer. Some of them, some kid probably have, they may save up some money and whatnot, but the majority of kids, they were given those things. So if it's a addiction on their part and you competing with them, then you need to walk it back to the point to where they have a level of balance there.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah, and I was about to say, just to piggyback off Miles, because it was, I was like, I was doing a science project on myself, I guess. I remember being over in the room, and of course, like you said, that dopamine. So when your phone go off or your phone vibrate, the first instinct, oh, let me get it. Right. So it got to the point, like literally, I got in there one day, and I was, I think I was reading, and the phone went off. And I remember I went to it, but then I caught myself. I'm like, dang, you can't keep going straight to the phone just because the phone go off. Then it got to the point where it literally, and even as hard as it was, it got to the point as the phone kept dinging and going off, it kind of silenced itself out. So it was to the point where at the end, I'm like, oh man, I didn't even realize I had all these calls. But it was just where I ended up like, this is the focus. You know what I'm saying? So now when you dealing with the kids, I think it's just, again, it's back to what are we teaching them? Because now we have to give them, I think you got to tell them why. A lot of people, they don't understand why, then they're going to keep doing what they're doing anyway. So sometimes, and most of them may not truly understand in that moment, but I do believe if you give them the why on why that's important to not let that control you mentally, some will, adhere, and they may be able to adjust it a little bit. A funny one. Naya, when she was a baby, she had these 2 fingers that she kept in her mouth. There was everything that we tried, hot sauce, we told her that it was infected or whatever it was just crazy things that we would tell her. But she was just used to putting her hands in her mouth when she was a baby. And then I think it was one day, I think we ended up telling her that if you put it in your mouth again, something about you don't lose your fingers. It was something to that magnitude. And you could see it in her face, like, never put her fingers in her mouth again. So the focus before, it wasn't the focus of, I'm just doing it. This is something that's natural. I'm naturally just putting it was like a muscle memory. But then again, when you put that focus on, okay, you about to lose them fingers, now it's like, I don't want, what I'm saying? You got to think about it. Again, now that focus, you get ready to put it to him, now it's like, okay, I need these 2. Yeah. So again, I think it's just where you put how you direct your attention.
Yeah, I think that's something similar to like the phone time on the phone. So I don't know if y'all ever pay attention to your phone time. Last year sometime, bro, I looked at my phone time and I was disappointed in myself. I was like, there's no way I spend this much time on my phone. But that just lets you know how much accidentally you can just be on your phone if you're really not intentional about it. And then I started even doing basically like a phone detox in a sense, like at a certain time to a certain time that I'm not going to be on our phone. Especially someone like ourselves, it's easy to be on our phones. You got to think like our work is basically through our phones. You checking the chats, or you, with me doing the social media stuff, it's like you always end up picking your phone up. But you also understand when you pick it up to do that one thing, you're supposed to do something else always get your attention. And obviously we go to how these companies are created. They're created to distract us. Like they're actually studies that they're doing to get our attention and what to put it, how to put it, obviously with the algorithm stuff and giving us what we need. So it's like we're up against a battle of attention. Like attention is like a currency at this point. How can I get your attention? Because if I can get your attention, then you're going to end up spending some money with me, or doing something with me to earn some money. So when we're thinking about attention, how can you shift the person's focus to making themselves better? The attention to, obviously, the person that's sitting at home know I need to lose weight, or I need to, a student, I know I need to get better grades. Like those are things that should have your attention, but still you are turning to the entertainment than the education. You get what I'm saying? So if losing the weight, if going to get better grades, doing all these things that we know we need to, that needs our attention, but we still want to go to the negative side. You get what I'm saying? How do we get a person to get to this point and choose the good side than the bad? And not to say this, I shouldn't say good and bad. Just know how to divvy out the time or put time into that good, the attention to the education and stuff as well.
I don't know. So a lot of times I see it's easier to find out what it is you're trying to do with yourself, and like later on in life, or why do you want to do good? Trying to find out their purpose in making good grades or passing the test. Like what's why? And then a lot of times you can give them some kind of advice to encourage them to do better. And that's, pertaining to the kids.
Yeah.
Adults, I mean, most men, I think after you sit down and you have a real conversation with the man that says he can get the job done at home as far as taking care of the family, or there's a lack of motivation for whatever reason, but then you actually speak to him, or you give them your recipe for success and how it has helped change your outlook or like your standpoint in life with the family. Sometimes when they hear the good that came out of it, a lot of times people, you get some men that want to change, they want to shift their focus or their attention from doing something that's not going to benefit them to doing something that can. So, I mean, again, it's just finding out the why. I think that a lot of times can help, especially if somebody is self-motivated, because I think that at the end of the day, that's what it really boils down to. You can give somebody, all the advice in the world, but if they don't want to do better, we just talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, I mean, transformation, it starts from a place of willingness. So when we're talking about transforming someone's ideology or mindset, first they have to be willing, and then two, the why has to be have enough gravitas. It has to have enough pull as to why. So when people are getting older, life experiences, painful experiences, trauma, wins, losses, all these things motivate you to either be more entrenched in who you are or to be more willing to change. So you can't fabricate that. And what I mean by that is you can't beat someone or try to use like tactics to try and make them change. I've seen firsthand, because the military is designed to do that. It's designed to sit there and take people so far out of their comfort zone where it's either the person is willing to change or they're not. And even still, that's not a perfect process. We still have, soldiers through different trainings and things like that don't make it, or, even if they did make it past the initial selection process, something still didn't fully change to where now they're failing to adapt fully to whatever it is they're at, whatever unit it may be. So that experience showed me that you can't. People are wired to resist. It's just in our flesh. So you can't. It ain't a dog. A dog, you can sit there and give a pop, or you can put lime juice in their mouth. All these different techniques to train a dog to do certain things, but a person don't operate like that. So you have to find enough positive reinforcement to pull that person to be like, you know what, I need to change. You can't browbeat everyone to change. You can't yell everyone to change. It just doesn't work that way. Not with the human condition. So even when it comes down to the example I use with weight loss, it's finding those potent whys. If you have an older person that's not healthy, but you got a grandson, I'm pretty sure you want to be around for your grandson. I'm pretty sure you want to sit there, and I have a client right now, still to this day, Frank Brennan. He has a grandson. He's very active with, say, a grandson. It's important to him to remain healthy because that's what he cares about. So I can sit there all day and preach about health and wellness to him, but what does that mean? But when you start to show them that, okay, look, because you're healthy, you're getting extra time with him. You're having, more time to be able to go fishing with him, do all these experiences with them. That's a potent enough reason to get someone to change up their habits.
Yeah. One of the most powerful things we do, and I know y'all know it's powerful, but think about it from this lens. Every day when we do those journals, those 10 minutes out of the day when we tell the boys to focus on this and just sit still, focus on this, think, looking in yourself, and we're giving them a question. You think about most people, they don't get themselves, everything is so busy, everything is flying. There's a quote out there that says, not all people that wander are lost. And not all people that wander are lost. If you just think about that, not all people that wander are lost. So one of the most important things, people just pause for a second. If you can think for yourself, I don't know if this happened to y'all, but my best ideas come when I'm just thinking, just giving myself time to myself, and I'm just out there just chilling. And then you get your best idea, like, dang, this came about because you're giving yourself time to ponder and really just be able to come up with ideas. I think that is one of the missing things, because our world, you don't get time. You feel like you need to be doing something. Anytime you're not doing so, you feel like, dang, it's something I'm supposed to be doing, or something you're missing out on, or you try to find something to make yourself busy. I think everybody should allot time during their day where they just sit still. You get what I'm saying? These 10 minutes, these whatever minutes, I'm going to sit right here and just whatever comes to me. I'm going to think. I'm going to ask myself questions. I'm going to ask myself questions about myself. I'm going to be able to do evaluations for myself to come up with new ideas and just be able to be yourself. I think that alleviates that time to where you just always just da-da-da-da and going to the next. And I think that's what the boys are doing. They are feeding their brain. They never giving their brains enough time to just pause and just stop to be able to come up with ideas and stuff like that. So I think that pause time will be a best for yourself. Do y'all ever do y'all? I know we do that with the boys. Do y'all do that for yourself? Do you ever legit like, during this time during my day, I'm going to set aside to do mindfulness or something like that. Do y'all do that?
Even in the midst of it, I'll never forget. It was we were doing a pretty intense training, and from my position, I could see part of the battlefield, if you will, and because of my position, I could see, the different trucks, the different movements, can hear the gunshots, I can see all these things, and I'm getting to move with my team to execute what I know to do in the situation in which I see playing out before me. I never forget, went to go motion to move. I feel a hand on my shoulder, and it's my first sergeant at the time, and he said, sometimes, even in battle, when you supposed to be on the most and all these things are moving, you still need to stop and let the battlefield play out. And so he said, just keep watching, don't move just yet. So, and this just goes to show the wisdom and experience of someone, at that point I had some years and I had my stripes, but this is someone that's near the end of their career. So, far more experienced than I. And so we both just sat there and looked. And 2 minutes later, the battle scenario started to change to where if I would have went out there, I wouldn't have seen another truck in a unit coming by. And that taught me in that moment, at a young age, to even when all the noise of battle and everything else is going on, you still need to make sure that you can keep a head about you and see it play out so that you can make the move, because not all the time, and this is why you probably heard me say this to the boys before, don't go by your first thought, first action. Go by the second thought and your first action. Your first thought is always going to be what you see right in front of you. It's always going to be the what you hear, the noise, the smell, all these things. But you have to control that moment and not just be so hasty sometimes. Take a minute to think about it, really analyze it, and then you make your move. Yeah. And then that's where you make your bread and butter. So even now, I still adhere to that. I never, even if someone thinks, or they may see me do something like, oh, that's brash, or I thought about it. Yeah. I thought about it, analyzed it, and it's just being comfortable within yourself, not only with your abilities, but, I always talk about it on here, but also with faith in God, to know that not all the time that's for you to just jump out and do something. Sometimes, even though it's all loud, you see all this action moving around, still just take that moment, take a breath, and look at the battlefield play out. And I promise you, what you're about to spend your energy on to do, you didn't really have to. You just waited a little bit. Or if you saw it, now you can make a much more, conscious decision or execution of your movement to where it really does land you with success.
Yeah. Now that's why, as you're saying that, it makes me think about traffic. If you think about traffic, what allows traffic to move is not how fast all the cars are going. It's about how much space is in between each car. So you get what I'm saying? Like, everybody think that it's because they move, and no, it's because they have the space to be able to think, be able to go, be able to move, and be able to maneuver. And that's the same thing for our lives. We got to give ourselves space to think and be able to move. And then that comes to be able to making the right decision. Think about a world where everybody's able to self-reflect, everybody's able to make rational decisions, everybody making decisions not out of fear, not out of anxiety, not out of that I just feel that I have to. And you get what I'm saying? I think that's where that think time comes. And I think that, so as we coming to the end of it, I want to think about, so that solution part of it, I know you just gave that, and that can be your solution. But so when we think of people, that's going to be my think time. Like, think time is when we, at the beginning of the problem that we put out is people lacking focus, people wanting entertainment instead of education. I think when you give yourself that think time, even if, and when I say education, most people think about your book smart, reading, doing all this everything. When I say education can be anything. Your think time can be you literally being educated on yourself. And I think that's the most important. How do you view yourself? How do you see yourself? And how do you see the world? You get what I'm saying? And not 2 + 2 = 4. I mean, taking a deeper inner look at yourself to be able to analyze the world and move forward. So I think that's the answer. So think time. You watching this, if you feel like you have no time, you feel like you can't put your attention to somebody, put think time in. Every day, put a little time just for you to stop and for you to think. It could be 10 minutes, 50, however many times you think, but this is time when you separating from everything, people, electronics, and all that. This is just you and yourself, and you thinking. You can do this walking, you can do this in the shower, in the tub, you can do this in just very area. You pick the area, you pick the time, and you just give your mind to wander, time to think and detach away from everything that's going on. And I guarantee that'll put you in a space to where you're not searching for that entertainment. You're going to be searching for that moment to be able to get your think time. That's going to be your entertainment for your day. So I'm just challenging you to shift your focus. So that's for me. What y'all got for them?
Yeah, even with the analogy with traffic, the largest reason for traffic jams isn't because someone driving slow. In fact, it's the opposite. When you study traffic and the flow of it, is because people are speeding. Mm-hmm. So because people speed, that's actually what leads to jams, roadblocks, obviously wrecks and things like that. So stop being so concerned about the speed of your movement. Just move. It doesn't matter if this person over here going, in the left lane, going as fast as they possibly can. It's based on where you're trying to go, and that's need to dictate your speed. Sometimes, you're gonna have to speed up a little bit. Sometimes you kind of go on cruise control. Sometimes you may have to slow down, but just be receptive to the speed in which you need to get to your destination. Because if everyone's speeding, it's always gonna be a traffic jam. That's just reality of it.
Yep. I'm over here. My ex was daydreaming just them because literally it was yesterday. Going past one of the spots where my dad used to live at, and I remember it was like literally he was like 2 minutes. It's 2-minute drive, but like a 5-minute walk maybe through the path to grandma's house and Happiness Homes. Mm-hmm. And as I'm riding past, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dang, I remember I was doing everything I could when I wasn't supposed to, trying to get over here to his house, trying to be in his life. So for me in that moment, like you say, so it doesn't matter. You don't just have to physically be sitting there like, okay, thinking to myself what happened or what can I do to get better, or just to think. I was literally just driving by and I'm sitting here, I'm recalling this moment in my life when this happened. And I'm thinking to myself like, hey, he wasn't in my life. And even though I was trying to get there to him, now I'm 33 years old and he still hadn't been the man that I was hoping that he was going to be. So for me in that moment, as I drove by, in that minute or 30 seconds to a minute that I rode by, I had a moment to think to myself in the car to say, okay, never do this to your kids. Always be there for your kids. So I'm able to not only think, but reevaluate what I'm doing to make sure that I never do what he did. And I think that's a part of the just self-evaluation as well. Just making sure that you're looking at what's your why. I guess that goes back to your why. Now I know why I'm sitting here thinking in that moment, and now I know why I'm doing the things I can to be a better dad for my family, because the way that I feel now, or not having him when I wanted him there, how will my kids feel? So now I get to think about that, and now I can make sure that I do what I need to do to make sure that they never feel how I feel. So just reevaluate and look at your situation and how it can be different if you apply yourself.
Yeah, and it's the art of focus too. That's something I was just thinking about. If y'all think about focus, and I don't know what when you think about focus, how you define focus, but when I think about focus, it's your ability to out of a million thoughts, focus on that one at hand. You get what I'm saying? Because as a mind, even right now, we can be having this conversation and thinking about something else right now, but our ability to focus is us to grab that one thought that's coming out of my mouth. For y'all, out of whatever going on in your mind right now, you being able to hear me grab that thought and be able to react to that thought. You get what I'm saying? That's what focus is. And you thinking from a child or anybody that got a lot going on, they can't focus because they grabbing everything, all the other thoughts that's not on what we on right now. And that's a hard thing to do. So just thinking about that. And man, as you're watching this, sometimes you got to take a higher level of thinking when you're thinking about these things. Because if you think about focus from that lens I just gave, if you could think about your brain right now, what's going on in your mind right now, and we all have so much going on, but your focus is you locking in on what you're hearing right now. If you're watching this podcast, you're focusing, you're choosing to lock in on the thoughts that this conversation is giving you and act on it. And most people can't do that because at the same time that you're hearing it, you got to go cook. You maybe got kids in the other room yelling. You got so much going on around your head, you just can't be able to grab that thought. So my challenge to you, man, as you're focusing, there's going to be different areas of your life as you go throughout your day. If it's in your morning time is devoted for you, for your kids, focus on that. Everything else doesn't matter in that moment. Lock in on that. If you're going to work, focus in on work. When you get home, whatever chapters of days and whatever you got going on in your life, be able to just every all and miss, and knowing that all those thoughts are gonna come about, I just have to lock in and grab that one to be able to make sure that I'm on point and doing whatever I gotta do. So man, I hope everybody else can, Darren, that's watching this, man, I hope you guys really challenge yourself to get that think time, dissociate, disattach from these electronics in the world. It could be people, family, whoever that's not pointing you in the direction that you need to go and detach yourself. But again, we need to be able to get more focused, man. We need to stop worrying about entertainment, get educated, get focused, get locked in on ourselves and who we trying to be. Who are you and where are you going? All right, who are you, where are you going? So that's it. Anything y'all got for them before we wrap it up, fellas? Yeah, peace. You got that for you. All right, man. I appreciate y'all. Always good time, man. We're coming up on the break, so spring break. We know spring break coming up, so man, this is a great time. I hope everybody that's going spring break and you enjoy yourself. Those that are here in Florida, Marion County, I don't know about everybody else when you spring break is. Remember, not October. I don't know why my dates and everything messed up. April the 12th, our casino night. We will not do that event. We need to shift your focus to July 25th. We're gonna have a great summer gala. But again, anything else we need you go to cutdifferent.org. Make sure you're tapping in with our website. And we got some fresh blogs that's going up, and you can just learn more about what we have going on. And you know what time it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. All right, stop what you're doing right now. Like, subscribe, and comment. Our new goal, what we said our new goal was? 1,500. I think we had like 126 right now, right, Hob? About 127, 126. So we got a lot more to go. But you could be our next one to get us closer to our goal, man. We appreciate y'all for watching. Man, we've been having all types of stuff going on today. I know you see the screen been blanking and all that. Hey, that just lets you know this is a real deal podcast, man. Hey, things happen. We just here to make it happen. But man, we appreciate y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.